Hey everyone, before we dive into tonight's twisted tale, I just want to say thank you. This channel has grown because of you, the night owls, rule breakers, and horror fans who keep coming back for more. If you want to take it even further, consider joining the Sinister Elite. It helps me tremendously to keep the stories coming, and you'll unlock exclusive emojis and members-only perks along the way. And if you're looking for horror that goes beyond strange rules, check out my new channel, Sinister Shadows. It's where the darker, weirder stuff lives. The link's in the description. Make sure you're subscribed to both channels, drop a like, and if you're brave enough, join the Sinister Elite. Now, on to tonight's story. Just remember, follow the rules, or end up in the story. When I took the job at Grackle Hollow Station, they told me two things. 1, the job's easy. 2, there's no such thing as ghosts. They lied about both. Grackle Hollow isn't on any map you'd want to follow. It's tucked between rusted freight yards and a stretch of track so old it looks like it's sinking into the earth itself. My shift starts at midnight sharp and ends, well, technically at sunrise. Realistically, whenever the final train of the night vanishes into the fog without taking me with it. If you're wondering why a fully grown adult with a GED and a decent driving record would sign up for this mess, I'll give you the same answer I gave my landlord. Rent is due. The building itself is barely standing. Peeling green paint. Ticket windows so smudged you have to guess who's on the other side. Flickering neon sign that says Grackle Hollow Station because someone stole the W 3 years ago. And taped to the wall behind my ticket booth, right next to the ancient time clock, is the list. Laminated, yellowed, smudged with, well, something. Rules for the night shift. Follow these if you like breathing. Punch all tickets without asking questions. Never let a passenger off the train. Sweep the platform before dawn. Use the red-handled mop only. If you hear footsteps behind you, don't turn around. The station closes at 6:06 a.m. Not before, not after. See? Simple. Unless you've worked here a week. Then you know simple means everything is trying to kill you politely. My boss is a shadow behind a door labeled manager. I've never seen him. Sometimes I hear him muttering in languages I don't know. My paycheck comes in cash, in an envelope, slid under the door at exactly 11:59 p.m. on Fridays. I'm not here to ask questions. I'm here to keep the monsters on their trains. Last night, for example, I had a passenger in a suit made entirely of feathers. He pressed a ticket made of what looked suspiciously like stretched skin against the glass and didn't blink for the entire 10 seconds it took me to stamp it. I followed Rule 1. I did not comment. Tonight feels worse. I'm watching the clock. Midnight, then 12:01. The fog rolls in like it's on cue. The tracks hum. Somewhere out in the dark, something boards a train. Somewhere else, something gets left behind. I lean back in my chair and sigh. I'm not paid enough for existential dread. Outside, the platform lights buzz like angry flies. One of them pops. Black glass rains down onto the concrete. Great. Another thing for me to sweep later. Speaking of which, I glance toward the supply closet. The door is cracked open just enough to see the red-handled mop leaning against the wall, alone in the dark like it's plotting something. I don't trust that mop. I never have. I swear it wasn't standing in that corner yesterday. Still. Rule 3. Gotta sweep. Or things accumulate. Things that shouldn't. I go back to the microphone and press the button. My voice crackles over the ancient PA system. The 12:15 Nightbound Express is now arriving on track 9. Please remain seated inside the train until further notice. No one answers, of course. They never do. The things on those trains don't follow announcements. They follow hunger. I wait. Somewhere out there in the fog, a whistle blows. Long, low, wrong. It doesn't sound like metal and steam. It sounds like something exhaling through too many teeth. The lights flicker again. A shape coalesces at the far end of the platform. Tall, thin, wrapped in a coat that looks like it's been stitched from shadows. It drags a suitcase. The suitcase drips something black onto the concrete. I stamp its ticket through the glass without looking up. The thing nods once and boards the train as it slows to a stop, doors hissing open like breath drawn through a throat. Another night. Another monster that stays where it's supposed to. For now. I check the clock again. Only 7 more hours to go. And maybe if I'm lucky, the mop will stay exactly where I left it. At 1:03 a.m., someone knocks on the station's front door. This would already be bad news except for one detail. There isn't a door at the front of the station. Not anymore. They boarded it up years ago. Plywood, nails, and a thick smear of something black that might have been paint when they first slapped it on. So when I hear 3 crisp knocks, 1, 2, 3, I freeze. Rule number 4 from the list didn't say anything about knocks. Just footsteps. Still, my gut tells me answering is a bad idea. I glance out toward the platform. The train is still there, sitting in the fog like a waiting predator. Passengers press against the grimy windows. Shapes, outlines, nothing human. I've learned not to look too long. Another knock. Louder. Closer, like it's inside the walls. I grab my flashlight and shine it toward the boarded entrance. The light dies halfway across the lobby. Bulb's fine. Batteries are fresh. Happens every time I point it there. I look at the clock. 1:04 a.m. Time is slow here, syrup thick and dragging. Behind me, the supply closet creaks open another inch. That damn mop is leaning out just a little more than it was before. Still red-handled. Still watching me. I consider closing the door, but figure if the mop wants out bad enough, it'll find a way. I've got bigger problems. Like whoever, or whatever, wants me to open a door that technically doesn't exist. The radio crackles. I forgot the station even had a radio. I haven't touched it since the first night when I realized it only picks up, well, not music, not news, not anything living. Through the static, a voice wheezes, "Let us in." Number thank you. Hard pass. Rule number 2 is pretty clear. Never let them off the train. That applies to doors, windows, and, according to old Carl, the guy who trained me and vanished without collecting his final paycheck, mirrors after 2 a.m. I tap the microphone again, throat dry. Attention passengers. Please remain inside the nightbound express. Departures resume shortly. Do not disembark. I repeat, do not disembark. Another knock. This time from the ceiling. I look up. Nothing but cracked tiles and a flickering light bulb. The knocking moves along the tiles toward the back wall, then stops over the boarded door again. They're trying to wear me down. Testing me. It's only night 2 of this week's shift, and already the station's getting bold. I make another circuit through the empty terminal. The benches are warped from age and dampness, stained dark in ways bleach wouldn't fix. Posters peel from the walls advertising routes that no longer exist. The line that never ends, tickets on sale now. The fog presses against the windows like hungry hands. Shapes swim in it. Sometimes they knock too. I ignore them. Out on the platform, a woman in a long dress steps off the train. Or, I think it's a woman. Hard to tell. No face, just the suggestion of one, smooth and empty like someone pressed wax against bone and left it half finished. Rule number 2, never let them off the train. I run outside. The fog swallows sound and distance. The woman turns toward me, head tilted, listening. I hold up my clipboard like it's going to protect me. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to get back on board." Silence. Then slowly she lifts one hand and points toward the boarded door. Another knock from inside this time. I don't get paid enough for this. I really don't. Behind me, the mop falls over with a loud thunk. When I turn back, the woman is gone. So is her suitcase. So is the puddle she was leaking onto the concrete. The train doors hiss shut, The whistle sounds. Not a real whistle, but something pretending. Pretending well enough to fool gravity and tracks and time. I step back inside and lock the doors that shouldn't need locking. The knocks stop. For now. The mop is lying in the middle of the lobby, handle pointing toward the boarded entrance like it's making a silent suggestion. Sweep before dawn, even if there's nothing there. I pick it up, carefully. It feels heavier than it should, like it's soaked through with more than just mop water. I start sweeping. Some nights the dirt doesn't come from this world. At exactly 3:33 a.m., the fog thickens until it looks like walls. The lights dim without fully going out, and the radio, the same one that hasn't picked up a normal station since I got here, lets out a long, slow hiss like someone breathing through rotted teeth. This is the part of the night I hate the most. Not because of what's happening, because of what's supposed to happen. According to rule number 4, the 3:33 a.m. train doesn't stop here. If it does, hide under the counter until it leaves. That's the rule. That's the warning. No exceptions. I don't know what the 3:33 train carries. I don't want to. Old Carl said it once tried to get him to board. Said it spoke to him in his mother's voice. Said the doors opened and the tracks weren't there anymore, just a long black tunnel full of teeth. Carl doesn't work here now. Carl doesn't work anywhere now. I keep my eyes on the clock. The second hand stutters between ticks like it's fighting gravity. Somewhere in the distance, I hear the whistle. Not the nightbound express. Not even pretending to be a train. This one's deeper, hungrier. Metal scrapes, chains rattle, something enormous shifts in the dark. I glance at the ticket booth counter. I'm supposed to hide under it. That's what the rule says. But the counter smells like mildew and rat droppings, and last time I was under there I saw something slither between the cracks in the tile. Not eager to repeat that experience. Still, rules are rules. I duck under just as the fog outside turns black. Not gray, not shadowy. Black. Like ink bleeding through reality. The doors slide open. Something steps onto the platform. I can't see it, but I feel it. The floorboards strain beneath its weight. The lights bend slightly, stretching shadows where there shouldn't be any. Through the crack beneath the counter, I spot movement. Feet, sort of. Hooves, claws. One of them drags a chain. The chain drips something that sizzles when it hits the floor. There's breathing, too close, too big. It lingers, testing me, waiting to see if I'll break the rule. I hold my breath. The supply closet door creaks, slowly. The mop slides halfway out on its own, handle pointed toward the black fog, like it's trying to sweep it away, like it's daring whatever's out there to step 1 inch closer. I bite my tongue to keep from laughing. I must be losing it, talking mops, phantom trains, nightmare commuters. Eventually, the doors hiss closed again. The darkness peels back. The fog returns to its usual gray. The clock jumps to 3:34. I crawl out, knees aching, heart thudding like a slow, terrified drum. The floor where the thing walked is cracked, warped, burned through in spots. I'm not cleaning that up. Not even with the red-handled mop. The mop, by the way, is back in the closet. Door shut. Like nothing happened. Like it's laughing at me. I make another round through the terminal, checking locks, windows, lights. I tap the microphone. My voice sounds thinner than usual. Passengers are reminded, do not leave your train. Do not attempt to exit through unauthorized doors. Do not engage with the 3:33 a.m. arrival. Out on the tracks, something massive shifts beneath the fog and rumbles away. Another night. Another close call. I sit back down at my booth and stare at the laminated list of rules. It stares back. The ink looks a little fresher now, like someone updated it when I wasn't looking. There's an 8th rule scratched in beneath the others. 8. Don't forget to sweep behind the counter. I glance down. Behind the counter, something is leaving footprints. Not mine. Not human. And there's dust gathering. Thick. Heavy. Almost alive. I reach for the mop. Again. You ever sweep footprints that appear while you're watching? It's unsettling. One moment, there's nothing behind the counter except stale dust and old gum. The next, long, narrow prints. Too long, too narrow, pressed deep into the grime, as if something stood there, watching me while I hid. And rule number 8, the new one, says to sweep. So I sweep. The red-handled mop doesn't glide over this dirt like normal. It sticks, scrapes, drags. Feels like I'm pulling it through molasses. Every stroke leaves behind streaks that vanish if I blink too long. Eventually, the footprints fade. The grime disappears. The floor looks newer somehow. Less rotted, less cursed. That's new. I give the mop a suspicious look. It leans casually against the counter like it's done its good deed for the day. Yeah, thanks for the help, I mutter. The radio pops and crackles behind me. Another voice, this time softer, younger. Clean up, or they'll clean up you. Great. Now the haunted PA system's offering life advice. I finish sweeping behind the counter, and something strange happens. A door appears. Not physically, not yet, but there's an outline burned into the floor now. Faint, but pulsing, like a heartbeat. A rectangle, exactly the size and shape of a door I don't remember being there. The mop's bristles twitch like it wants to push the outline closed. I ignore it. I don't get paid to investigate extra-dimensional maintenance issues. I get paid to keep monsters on trains and sweep floors. Barely. I make my way back to the ticket window. Through the smudged glass, I can see the platforms emptier than usual. The nightbound express still hums. Doors sealed. Passengers pressed to the windows like barnacles to glass. Watching. Waiting. The lights flicker again. A new train pulls in. No schedule lists it. No announcement comes through. Just a long, silent thing with cars that stretch too far in both directions. Matte black. No windows. No markings. One door slides open. Something steps out. Tall. Thin. Wrapped in bandages, maybe? Its face is a maze of lines that don't belong on skin. It's holding a suitcase that hums, like it's full of angry bees. I tap the microphone. Return to your train immediately. The thing tilts its head. Listens. Smiles with too many teeth in a place no mouth belongs. It takes a step toward the station. My heart does a tap dance behind my ribs. My hand reaches for the mop without thinking. Back on the train, I say again. Quieter this time. Now. The mop hums. Hums. Vibrates like it's ready to lunge. The thing hesitates. Looks at the mop. Looks at me. Looks at the door that isn't there behind the counter. And backs away. Slowly. Carefully. Like it doesn't want to turn its back on either of us. It steps onto the black train. The door closes. The whole thing peels backward into the fog, leaving no trace it was ever here. The lights steady. The fog lightens. I lower the mop. My arms shaking. My brain's trying to make this make sense. It won't. Not tonight. I glance at the list of rules again. Rule number 3 still says, sweep the platform before dawn. Use the red-handled mop only. No mention of using it as a weapon. No mention of it scaring things back onto their cursed locomotives. I lean the mop back against the wall. It settles like a satisfied old dog. Somewhere out on the tracks, a whistle blows. Somewhere under my feet, the outline of the door beats once, slow and heavy. I ignore both. I've got a platform to sweep before sunrise. By 4:30 a.m., the platform is clean enough to eat off. Not that I recommend it. Anything you drop here would pick up extra ingredients you didn't ask for. The mop is back in its usual spot, propped against the supply closet, looking smug for something without a face. It didn't fight me tonight, not after what it pulled with the black train. Almost like it's resting, gathering strength for whatever comes next. I'm just finishing the last sweep near track 13 when I notice something's off. The tracks are moving, not like a train's coming, not like vibrations through steel. I mean, the rails themselves are slithering under the gravel, shifting like snakes stretching in their sleep. That's new. I take a cautious step back. The fog part's just enough to show me why. There's something on the tracks, something crawling. At first, it looks like a person. Then it doesn't. Too long. Too thin. Elbows and knees bending the wrong way, head lolling from side to side like it's loose on its hinges. Its fingers, if you can call them that, scrape sparks off the metal as it hauls itself forward. It doesn't belong here. Rule number 2. Never let them off the train. Well, this thing's not off a train. It's under one. Beneath the tracks, maybe? Between them? Crawling from wherever the 333 line leads when it isn't visiting. Whatever it is, it stops when it sees me. I don't know how I know it sees me. It doesn't have eyes, just a pale oval of flesh where a face might have been once. It hisses, not air, not words, rail noise, metal grinding metal. I back up toward the station doors. My hand finds the mop again, unthinking. Instinct, like grabbing a crucifix, except this one's bristles are frayed and smell faintly of bleach. The thing on the tracks recoils. Not much, not far, but enough. It slides backward, boneless, folding itself into the space between two sleepers. Gone. The rails settle. Still, silent, like they were never alive to begin with. I look at the mop. Okay, I say. You win. We're teammates now. The mop doesn't answer. It doesn't need to. I get the message. I finish my sweep with more care than before, paying attention to corners I used to ignore. The shadows shift differently now. Less hostile, less eager, like they know I've got backup. Inside, the radio crackles again. A new voice, older, hoarse with smoke or dust. You're learning. Keep sweeping. Keep them on the trains. Don't forget the cracks. The cracks? I glance down. Sure enough, the grout between the tiles behind the counter is widening again. That door beneath my feet pulsing slow and steady like a second heart. Dawn's not far now. I just have to make it until 6:06 a.m. Then the station closes. Then the sun burns this fog back where it belongs. Then I can lock up, punch out, and pretend none of this happened until tomorrow night. But first, one more sweep. For the cracks. For the footprints. For the things that shouldn't be on the tracks. And always, always, with the red-handled mop. At 5 a.m. sharp, something new happens. There's a man standing in the window across from my ticket booth. Not a passenger, not a shape in the fog. A man. Ordinary looking. Too ordinary. Gray suit, black tie, hair slicked back like a catalog model from the 1950s. His smile is small and neat and doesn't reach his eyes. Because he doesn't have any. Just smooth skin where his eyes should be. Like someone forgot to finish drawing him. I blink. He's still there. He taps one pale finger against the glass. Once. Twice. 3 times. I glance at the list. No rule about men without eyes. No rule about tapping windows. But by now I've learned the rules don't cover everything. The mop leans a little closer to the booth door. Not falling, not moving. Just tilting. Like it's watching. I pick it up. Slowly. Casually. Like I'm not arming myself against whatever this is. I step out onto the platform. The fog parts. The trains are quiet. Even the nightbound express seems to be holding its breath. The man smiles wider when he sees me. You've been doing such good work, he says. Voice like dead leaves crunching underfoot. Keeping things tidy. Keeping things contained. I don't answer. Talking to things like him is usually a mistake. He presses his hand flat to the window. The glass ripples beneath his palm like water. It's almost dawn, he says. Time for you to make a choice. A choice? No one said anything about choices. My job is rules. My job is sweeping. My job is keeping things on trains. He points, not at me, but at the mop. You can leave with the sun, or stay with the cracks. The cracks are widening behind the counter again. I can feel them even from here. That heartbeat under the floor, that door waiting to open. You're not supposed to be here, I tell him. Neither is your train. He laughs. It sounds wet, rotten. We're all here now. Something shifts behind him in the fog. A shadow taller than the trains, stitched together from bones and smoke. Watching. Waiting. I tighten my grip on the mop. No ticket, no ride. His smile vanishes. You don't understand. You were never sweeping dirt. The door behind the counter groans. A breath exhales from beneath it. Hungry. You were sweeping them back where they belong. I raise the mop. Not joking. Not playing anymore. The man steps back, eyes narrowing into nothing. His shape blurs at the edges like smoke in reverse. You've chosen, he says. Good. They hate unfinished business. He vanishes. Just gone. No sound. No trace. The fog peels away from the window. The trains settle. The cracks seal, almost. Not fully. Never fully. The mop leans itself gently back against the supply closet, like it's tired now. 5:59 a.m. Almost done. 6:06 a.m. I clock out. The sun cuts through the fog like a blade. The monsters stay on their trains. For now. The cracks wait. So does the mop. I lock the door. I go home. I don't sleep. Because tomorrow night the broom's gonna be waiting for me again. And I'm starting to understand. It's not just keeping things clean. It's keeping them in. At 11:59 p.m. sharp, the envelope slides under the door. Same as always. Cash inside. Same amount. Never more. Never less. But this time there's a note with it. Handwritten. Ink smeared like it bled. You're doing well. Sweep carefully tonight. Final stop approaching. Final stop? That's new. That's worrying. I clock in. I check the list. The rules haven't changed. But I notice the edges of the paper are curling like old leaves, like the list is starting to unravel. Out on the platform, the fog's thicker than usual. Smells like burnt wires and ash. No trains yet, but I can hear them circling. Waiting for something. The mop is standing by the door. Not leaning, not resting. Standing. Bristles sharp, handle upright, like a soldier ready for inspection. I pick it up. Feels heavier tonight. Feels important. The radio crackles once, then cuts out. Silence hangs heavy. At 12:33 a.m., the nightbound express pulls in. Slower than usual. Lights dim. Windows empty. Doors open with a hiss like a dying breath. Nothing gets off. Nothing gets on. I step outside. The platform shifts beneath my feet. The cracks are everywhere now. Not just under the counter, under the tracks, under the building, spreading like veins through rotten meat. The mop hums in my hand, a low, steady vibration. One more sweep. That's all. I push the mop across the platform. The cracks shrink. The shadows pull back. The fog retreats. The trains straighten. One more sweep. Around the corner. Through the ticket lobby. Past the boarded door. The door pulses once. Twice. It opens. Not physically. Spiritually. Beneath me between the tiles, an endless drop yawns wide. Blackness spiraling with shapes that shouldn't have names. Something tries to crawl out. Fingers first. Long. Wrong. Hungry. The mop strikes down like a blade. Light bursts from the bristles. Not bright, not clean, but red. The color of old neon. Of warning signs. Of blood left too long beneath the floor. The thing screams and falls. The door slams shut. The cracks seal one by one. The mop settles. Quiet again. The station breathes out relief. The list on the wall curls into ash and falls apart. No more rules. I know them now by heart. At 6:06 a.m., the sun rises. The fog dies. The nightbound express vanishes into empty tracks. I clock out. I turn to leave. The mop stands by the door, waiting, watching, ready. Because Grackle Hollow doesn't need rules anymore. It needs a keeper. And I'm not sweeping floors. I'm sweeping the cracks between worlds.